I think being a middle leader is tough because someone called it the meat and the sandwich. You're stuck between the senior leaders and what they want and the people you're responsible for and what they want or need. And so, unlike senior leaders who generally are sort of passing things downwards, or people at the bottom who are looking up to get support, as a middle leader, you're getting it from all directions all the time, and it's a really tough place to be. So I think for a middle leader, it's learning how to balance all of those things. So you've got to do the normal job of a teacher, you've got to be a leader, and you've got to do those things both at the same time. And I think also when you're in a senior position, you often have a bit more thinking space, and middle leaders generally don't get that. They have to keep going and working a lot, in a very hands-on way. So I think if you're thinking about younger people, it's coming into a career, and I was only a teacher, so I don't know how this is in other professions, but I think it's probably quite similar. You have a fairly straightforward task when you start out. So for a teacher, you've got to teach some lessons. There's not too much more than that you've got to learn. And I think the main thing is get really good at that core task. So when you do come into middle leadership, you've got capacity to do other things because you are more fluent and fluid about what you're doing in the classroom. And then I think the second piece of advice is don't panic. Because when you become a middle leader, you suddenly have this range of tasks. It's very challenging, but you just have to keep going at the pace that you can cope with and learn over time. Because I think if you continue as a teacher for 3, 4, 5 years, you become very good at being a teacher and you can do it quite easily, relatively. And the same is true of leaders. Start to get easier because you get into routines and habits. So whilst it may feel a bit overwhelming at the start, the trick is not to allow that to happen. Just do one thing at a time and learn over time, and you'll soon enough find you can cope with what you've got because you get used to doing those different things.
And I think that's really insightful. And I think many people underestimate those challenges that you have just shared.